Sorry, next we have Fadi from TD Bank. He's going to tell us a little bit about what they have there and a little bit more about the company.
Great.
I would say how I got involved in technology was in ninth grade. I found computers actually thrown out by my local campus, and I started making those.
And he was talking about technology too. That's, yeah. Great. I could just probably, you know what, I could fill in for the video, that's fine. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. I'm Fadi Abouche, I'm a Vice President at the Leverage Finance Group at TD Securities. Not sure how familiar you are with TD Bank, so I wanted to give a quick overview of that. We do have slides. I'm not sure if we can just switch to the slide part of everything. If not, that's fine. We're the sixth largest bank in North America by assets and by market cap. So we're originally a Canadian bank. I'm actually originally Canadian myself. Don't hold that against me or anything. But over the past few years, we've really embarked on a trajectory of growth here in the U.S. So what we started out was we were the second largest bank in Canada, had a great Canadian business, a market leader, and in retail, certainly a market leader in the top bank in that space. But in investment banking and generally in the capital markets, we were always in the top three of everything we ever did in our Canadian office. And over the past few years, certainly since the financial crisis, we've embarked on a rapid growth trajectory here in the U.S. And the motto always is that the U.S. is our emerging market. And we spent billions of dollars buying other banks in the retail space to get across. And now we actually have more banks, retail branches in Canada than we do in the U.S. But more importantly, for myself anyway, or at least just for the business that I work in, we also have begun a rapid expansion of our U.S. investment bank. Since 2014, I want to say, when I joined, we were in the midst of just starting out that strategy. We'll just let that, you know what, I could talk faster than the video anyway. We'll let that strategy, and then ultimately what ended up happening is we ended up bringing in a lot of new resources, investing in people, infrastructure, lending to a lot of new companies. And just by virtue of having such a large corporate network, by retail, by the fact that we have a lot of clients across our footprint, by the fact that we're such a large bank, top-rated bank in the private bank in the world, AA1, that was just a new development by Moody's. So just very strong corporate balance sheet has allowed us to really grow as quickly as possible in the U.S. When I got here in 2014, and I moved from the Canadian office, and a little bit on that later, when I got here, we were about 400 people just within the broader capital markets platform, the dealer. Now we're 1,200 people. It's the fastest growing bank-owned dealer in the U.S. From a lot of perspectives, certainly as we're growing, we're adding people by leaps and bounds. They're actually running out of office space. They just informed me they're going to turn my cube into a smaller version of my cube just to allow more people on the floor. A great thing in the long run. In the short run, maybe not so much, but generally speaking, it's just been a very exciting time for us. As far as the development of the platform, how we expect to grow going forward, and why we do events like this is because it is a people business at the end of the day. That's what investment banking generally is. That's our former CEO or current CEO likes to say that at the end of the day, what we sell is trust. People have to trust us with their money, have to trust us with financing, have to trust us with our advice. And ultimately, how you earn that trust is by having a great group of people working together to achieve, as far as investment banking goes, achieve the financing objectives of your corporate clients. So, ultimately, what does that mean for you, and what does that mean for our business here in the U.S.? It generally means that we are constantly in need and looking for great talent all across the board. We have a very robust internship program. Ed Veloz, who I'm sure you'll meet in the networking session, he's in charge of our North American campus recruitment, does a great job. And what we ultimately try to do is we try very hard to go out to where the talent is and convince you why we're a great bank to work. What are some of those reasons? I mean, beyond the obvious financial aspects of it in the context of what I just said, sixth largest bank, very safe balance sheet, a very rapidly growing franchise. It really is, the culture of this place does set it apart. I like to say it's run by Canadians, and they're all kind of very nice, and it's all very happy and go lucky and stuff like that. And it really, that is true. I think we've had a lot of people, and because we're growing so much, we've had a lot of people come in and out of the dealer, and meaning coming from new places, and they all kind of are astonished at how just collegial and how friendly our culture is, how we take a lot of care in nurturing people and developing them for a future career in my field, investment banking. One such example of that is in 2013, I was in Canada. I went to my boss and I said, hey, I'd really like to go work in New York for a bit, and I'd like to work in leverage finance, and I think that's an interesting field. 8 months later, I was in New York working in leverage finance, and they made, a position was readily available, and they really, that's just an example. It's not even like they'll send you across groups, they'll send you across countries if you want to, to allow you to develop. We take a very developmental approach and a very holistic approach to how we treat people and how we develop young talent. I happen to be the staffer of the leverage finance team, which is one of the larger teams here in the corporate investment banking platform here in the U.S. And we have 12 analysts and associates working with us right now and on our team, and really each one we treat very differently based on the needs and development, the skills that they need to develop. We staff them in a way that ensures they get access to as much different experiences that they think they're going to need. Very often we've had people rotate in and out of our group because they wanted to try something different. We had one guy go to the TMT investment banking group. We had someone come to us from our DCM group. So it's a very fluid type of place in that you really set your own expectations. What you put in is what you get out, and all the opportunities are there. And they're there because it's growing, because we invest so much, because we're always in need of people. And at the current stage in our trajectory, that's where we are. I'm getting the signal that oh, there we go. Was that there on the whole time? Oh, great. So just while, I know I've touched through some of it, but if you can see just the quick metrics of what we put together, we're about at $1 trillion in assets. And just generally, if you look at a few of those metrics, the ones to focus on are the credit rating of AA1, the $1 trillion in assets, and generally 83,000 full-time employees. That's a very large bank in the context of banking. I mean, like I said, sixth largest in North America. And depending on the metric you use, that's assets and market cap. It'll go both ways. Again, this is the further explanation of the sixth largest, and just showing you from a credit rating perspective where we would be. Same thing, it's just a very healthy bank, and like I said, a lot of the bank's assets and a lot of the bank's focus on growth is going to be in the U.S., and that's why that's just why there's a lot of opportunity here for us. As I mentioned, if you look, and the reason it's concentrated a lot in the Northeast, so I don't know if this does it justice, but actually we have more branches in the U.S. than we do in Canada now, so we really like to think of ourselves as a North American bank. And if you look at what has happened, like from 2002 to 2018, the market cap was $12 billion in 2002. It's $103 billion today. So it's on sound footing, and it's a very large bank. And kind of when you work in, particularly if you want a long-term career in investment banking, just as you see the headlines kind of coming in and out over the past year or so, you want to be in a place that's going to be stable, and that's going to be that looks to grow but doesn't look to get into new things quick and maybe get out of them every now and again. So we take a very long-term view of business, and generally when we came to the U.S. it took a while to confirm exactly what we wanted to do. And when we grow methodically within our risk appetite, so it's never intended to be like, we're going to be here one year, we're not the next. We tend to take we're with our clients, they're our clients, and they're going to be our clients for the long term. And I think that's actually it for the slides. So appreciate the time to present to you guys today. Thank you very much.
I would say how I got involved in technology was in ninth grade. I found computers actually thrown out by my local campus, and I started taking those and I started rebuilding them. The knowledge from rebuilding these computers and learning systems and architecture, I was able to learn actually how to program. When I go ahead and look at DevOps, it takes me back to where I started working from the systems level and applying these skills all the way up to help developers and help operations have a stable cloud.
I was interested in investment banking in particular, very competitive, like fast-paced things. So when you're working long hours, which is common in banking, you want to be surrounded by people you actually enjoy working with, and I can honestly say that I've become really good friends with the members of the team.
Right from the get-go, there's a huge demand for engineers to help out. The first week I had my license, I did my first grade. Today, a year and a half in, I've got 20, 30 clients of my own, and that's pretty much unheard of at any of the banks. I've got friends in similar roles, and they have done a fraction of what I've been able to do, which is awesome.
It's normal that the senior management would come down and leave my name and thank you for your effort and your work, and that alone is extremely important.
So starting your career at TD Securities, I think, is terrific for a young person today as they look to enter into the financial services business. When you look at our businesses and the opportunity to work in London, England, or New York City, or Singapore, or Toronto, you have this great expanse that we not only offer a job, we offer a career. There's so many different paths that you can take. We let people be themselves at work, and we want people to bring their whole selves to work. If you have a group of people that really enjoy doing what they do together, I think that puts a better product out there, and ultimately it creates a winning strategy for